a technician and an educator. So I'm like the youngest educator in the world.
Wow.
Hired by Vela, Germany. Yeah.
Whoa.
And
That's
when I was still 17, 18.
yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a really good story.
Yeah.
That's a really good origin story.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's how I started.
That's my mate Glen Hew. If you've been in the hairdressing industry for more than 5 minutes, you've probably heard of his name. Air touch, balayage, the work's so good that just makes you question your career. Imagine being 18 years old and standing in front of a room full of professionals and teaching them how to do their job. I've been watching his work online for years. We've actually met a couple years after COVID. Did 2 Instagram collabs together, just a quick model work in and out. But this time, I wasn't here to do hair. I wanted to hear his story. So when I planned this trip to KL, I thought, let's find out who Glen really is. While most of us are still trying to figure out life, this guy is already ahead of the game. So how does someone go from being a teenage educator to becoming one of the most well-known educators in Asia? Let's find out.
Okay, I think we should start from the beginning. You're a gymnast. I need everybody to know that you're a gymnast. How old were you then?
When I was 12, 13, when I was coming into the teenage, my secondary school. So when we go to secondary school from primary school, started to fall in love with gymnastics. Why? Because in Malaysia, there's a lot of people, especially boys.
Yeah.
You play a lot of basketball.
Yes.
When you play basketball, you look cool in front of all the girls.
Yes.
So there's that time a lot of people play basketball, and I'm not that tall, so I know that I cannot compete with them.
Yeah.
So what I should do is probably imagine everybody like playing basketball, and then suddenly somebody that just doing like a backflip, and that would be more cooler.
Yeah.
That's why I choose to become a gymnast.
That's really
and
cool.
I
That's
feel
really cool.
so cool when I do that because nobody can do that. So I always love to do something that is hard to do, and it's hard to learn, and it's it's very rare and nobody can do. I'm always looking for that.
I love that.
So when I learned that, first of all I just learned how to do backflip, like somersault. Then the coaches started to notice me. They say, why not you go and do competition?
Okay.
We want to train you. You have got so many talent. You should go for competition, things like that. And that's how I started to be selected as one of the a state player to compete in a lot of games and also competition.
You represented state, country as well?
Yeah, in the Malaysia Open, just to compete for fun, like to be,
Still.
to be present.
Still, the fact that you can compete, that's good.
That's because I don't like school that time. So most of my time in every year during my secondary school time, I always go and compete in the games like competition. So seldom in the school. For example, if let's say we have 200 days of school, half of it is always like competition, training, like things like that. So I like to travel. I like to do something that's not academic.
Glen's first haircut isn't a salon, it's actually in a school toilet.
So I started my first haircut is in my school toilet, and in return, they're going to spend me my lunch. Like a break time, they need to pay for my food in return. So until one day the discipline teacher caught us. There's no choice, I didn't cut my hair because that's the time my hair is quite long. And no choice, still my friend want to look for me for a haircut, so I just bring them back to my home and cut up.
That's not hustle, that's textbook Asian resourcefulness. Cut hair, get fat, repeat.
My home last time, my parents' house is actually just nearby my school, walking distance. So we walk back to school, and then after that, I walk back home and then bring my friends to my toilet, my house toilet, to cut until the whole toilet like flood with all this water. And that's how my mother asked me, hey, why not you just go to hairdressing school and learn?
Okay.
And that's how I started my hairdressing career. When I was 16, when you were still school.
Wow.
Yeah. Red light. They're very popular. So they did like a seminar. So it's like a road show. They're doing seminar, they're teaching, they're on stage, they're sharing all this trend, collection, things like that. Just telling myself, one day I want to be like them. And there's this opportunity. Vela, there's the subsidiary branch in Sabah. The technician, we call it technician, which is the hairdresser that teach the brand products to the salon. We call it technician. or you call it educator, something like
Educator,
that.
yep,
That's my
yep,
first
yep.
job actually. There's a vacancy there, and I go and went an interview. So among all these candidates at interview, I'm the youngest one and the most fresh grade one, because that's why at that time I just finished my high school, 17, 18, but they hired me. I said, why? Because you are like
When you were surprised. You were
because
surprised they hired you.
Yeah, and they said, because you are like a blank paper. We want blank paper, like blank, nothing fills in yet. Because I want you to follow the whole Wella system, to teach, to share. That's how they recruit me as a technician and an educator. So I'm like the youngest educator in the world.
Wow.
Hired by Wella, Germany. Yeah.
Whoa.
And
That's
when I was still 17, 18.
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a really good story. That's a really good origin story.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
At 17, honestly, most young apprentices are still trying to figure out how to do the blow dry properly or rig of color properly. Glenn, what an opportunity. Wild.
I started career as an educator first for 20 years. 5 years Wella, 15 with Gymnastics.
That means you never really spend that much time
In salon.
in salon. Whoa.
I never work in a salon. I'm like reverse. Everybody, a lot of people work as a salon hairdresser, and then they're fed up with that because lack of customer, this and that. And then they move to the brand company as educator, right?
Yes, that's
I'm
correct.
the other way around. I started my salon 3 years ago, and then every year I open one. And until today, I have 4 salons now. Okay, and 1 academy, and almost 30 staff, which is I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
And most important is most of my staff is from zero, no customer, and then just follow my way, which is social media, and that's how they build their clientele and regulars.
Opening a salon on hard mode. After 20 years of education, he finally opened his first salon. But he didn't just open it, he played by the rules.
When I start my salon, I'm still working with the brand company. So there's a lot of restriction where you cannot do the brand company customer, which is salon people,
Yep.
customers. Okay, cannot show on the social media that the customer is actually used to be their
Yes.
customer.
Yep. I understand.
It's very a lot of conflict of interest, and
Yeah.
also it's not good. This is first thing. Secondly is my price.
Yeah.
My price cannot be cheaper than all of them. I need to be in another level, and then the customer will satisfy. And the third one is I cannot hire their staff. I cannot hire whoever that want to come to me because there's a lot of conflict of interest as well. Because imagine that weekdays I represent this brand to all this salon to teach. And then they also will have this, they will also scare that, I will probably hire their staff or take away their things. That's why I try to draw this line. I don't want to create too much conflict. So that's why there's these rules that I cannot do. I cannot do promotion, I cannot do all these things. But I'm glad that I survived. That's why if you look at my client, all of them is not from Malaysia.
Yeah, they'll find you somehow, right?
Yeah, I try not to do the customer that are from other salons. Yeah, and also I'm not trying also not to hire staff that from other salons. So this is the hardest start
There's
for my
so
career.
many restrictions, but somehow you still manage to
Yes,
push through and start it as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
But thank God, and I'm glad that how it makes me what I'm today. If not because of that, probably I don't have my positioning now. So I'm glad that it happened. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how I start. Quite a hard way, but it's a good way.
How do you manage to recruit people? Like, how do people, I guess people just find you, right?
Yeah. I'm so lucky that I don't need to do recruitment. And almost every month, a lot of people come and interview.
Yeah.
Even the best part is salon owner
Yeah.
call me
Yeah.
and ask me to hire their staff.
Wow. Salon owner as well.
Because
That's
sometimes
crazy.
they wish their staff come to the best people, and also I believe for all these past 20 years, I can say that lucky that I did quite a good deeds right, to all the salon people and the hairdresser. They have this trust right, on me that I will really treat people good. And yeah, That's why there's a lot of salon people, salon owner, they will call me, just ask for my help to hire their staff.
Now that's the type of reputation you can't fake. Now that I'm officially a YouTuber, you're probably expecting that I'll be doing some sort of sponsored segment. You're not wrong. So here it is. This is not just shampoo. This is so pure, and it's changing the way we think about hair care. Every bottle is part of a refill system, less plastic, less waste, and every refill plants a tree. So what's inside? 4 powerful formulas: clarify, detox with pomegranate enzymes, polish, smooth frizz with chia seeds, cool, keep blondes icy with acai berry, restore, hydrate dry hair with prickly pear. Prickly pear. Prickly pear.
When I was talking to all your staff, they all say the same thing. When I asked them, it's like, oh, why are you here? And I think majority of them all say the same thing. I'm here for Glen, right?
Yeah, to become like a educator, like Glen.
Why are you here?
Because of Glen.
Because of Glen, and then
Everybody's here because of Glen.
Because of Glen?
Because of Glen?
Yeah.
Everybody's here because of Glen. And then the rest of the day, I watch how you interact with the staff. It's really good. And then it's just they don't feel pressured. I think when people are not too pressured, when they're doing a job, they feel comfortable focusing on what they need to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good. I have to admit, even in my own salon, we're quite strict on certain things. I do demand quite a lot of discipline from my staff because the way I function is like one of the biggest rule in my salon is that you cannot be late.
Yeah.
My rule is there's only early or late. There's no such thing as on time. On time doesn't exist.
Now, I've been to many salons and I've seen a lot of teams. Most teams work for the owner, correct? Glen's team feels like they work with him. That's the difference.
Even though, yes, I'm very active in social media,
Yep.
but doesn't mean that I want to be always on the spotlight. Okay, I'm not that kind of person. I prefer, to be honest, to be alone, to be myself,
Yeah.
to spend time with my closest friend or family.
Yep. Yep.
But if you ask me, since I already choose to be a hairdresser
Yeah.
and in the hairdressing industry,
Yeah.
what I want to do actually is to influence more younger generation people to fall in love with our industry. That's always been my goal from start of my career until today. Because I start very young as a hairdresser, and I start very young as a youngest educator in a brand company that going to salon and teach.
Yep.
How much of this criticize all these things that I've been facing during my younger time?
I can imagine. Yeah.
People will just say that, wow, I do hairdressing when you're still not in your mom whatever tummy or not born yet. I already do hairdressing. What are your, like, the same things like what you want to say to me or teach me, you know, things like that. So I get a lot of this kind of thing. So that's why I always tell myself, I say, actually young is not a problem. Even if you are young to be in the hairdressing, people not look up to you or whatever, that's not a problem. The problem is how you facing all this challenge. And tell yourself, one day you'll be different.
Yeah.
This is how I tell myself. Last time, whenever people talk to me like that, especially, to be honest, in whole Asia, the most difficult country is which country? Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong hairdresser is that kind of mindset that, wow, I always look down on young people. So that's actually motivate me actually.
Yeah.
There's this Hong Kong educator from Wella saying, criticize me.
Yeah.
How old are you? 18? In Hong Kong, it's never happened. We cannot have 18 years old educator to teach salon. The brand will be gone, this and that. But I tell myself, I want to prove it wrong.
Yeah.
So that's why until today, even though I reach a certain age, I still never give up on young people. I want them to believe on themselves, to have faith, to have self-confidence, and to do this business better. Because I believe without the younger generation, probably hair industry will be slowly, no more people want to go into this industry. This is what's happening in Malaysia as well. For the past 10 years, if you look at all this academy, hairdressing school, the number of students is decreasing.
Yep.
And it's actually quite worried. If you look at all these salons, I don't think only Malaysia, the whole world, it's always lack of staff, lack of manpower, right?
Yeah, that's correct, that's correct.
So that's why I believe young people should be the one that we need to influence more to get into this. If you'll ask me, this is what I want to do.
I came to Malaysia to meet an icon, but I walked away with something deeper. A guy who built something from nothing. School toilets, fitting scissors, lunch money, and it turned into a career that most people dream of. Glen Hew is proof that success doesn't always start in the right place. It starts when you decided to do the work, again and again, without shortcuts. I'm Daniel Yap. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. I'll do my best to reply to all the responses. But thanks for watching.
Good morning, everybody. This is Daniel, and today we are in Taiwan, Taipei. Requires something like 16 cameras.
Corner here where you do all the